Welcome back to the Backyard Quarterbacks. Our first episode. We did try one earlier last week for the Duquesne game. Really not much to talk about that. We enjoyed Florida State doing what they're supposed to do. But here we are for basically week one of college football, the real heavy dealing stuff. Obviously, remember me, Ryan Hartle. We got Tyler Rust with the Gator stuff on, and Adam Clifton with the Seminole stuff. Fellas, how was basically college football first week? How was it for y'all?
Exciting times, man. Enjoyed watching the Gators play. We had, some close games, some close games for, outside of the Florida State games. I don't know if y'all watched ECU versus NC State. Was it 2 missed field goals to lose a game there? Or was it extra point? I can't remember exactly, but basically lost the game because they couldn't kick it at the end there.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. Can you imagine losing on a missed kick?
Oh man,
or a block.
Yeah. But fun weekend.
Yeah, great
Long
weekend.
So we don't have to, no work tomorrow either.
Yeah, no work tomorrow. We can record for 3 hours tonight.
Day.
Yeah,
that's right. I might stay up another hour after this.
You earned it after that game. Yeah, so good weekend for me. Was down in Orlando. I already told you guys, and I didn't do any of the Disney parks. I didn't get a chance to watch a lot of football, but we were walking out of some restaurant as in the hotel bar had the Florida game on, so I got to see the end of that. Happy for you, Tyler. Congratulations.
Thank you, Adam.
Congrats.
Did Ryan have?
Yeah,
congratulations from Ryan.
Yeah, man. Good job. Beat a Pac-12 team.
Yeah. But so we kind of talked about this earlier. Not many weeks last year where all three of us were on a high because our team won. And even maybe the 1 or 2 weeks they did, the Jaguars fucking lost. So great weekend. College football's back. It always seems like when it ends, after the Natty championship game, it takes forever, but it's back. FSU, we're leading the country in wins. So,
2-0.
I mean, who else can? I mean, we're 2-0, but yeah, I guess we're gonna hop in to the FSU game first, right? So it's Harder wanted to mention this. It's 11:50, maybe half hour after that game just ended. So Hartle, we were texting nonstop back and forth. Initial reactions: what'd you like? What did you hate? And how does it feel for FSU to be back, baby?
We talked about this last year. We started out 0-3, and we played Brian Kelly's Notre Dame game. And I'm pretty sure we missed a field goal to try to go into overtime, game over. And we were happy with it. I mean, we were actually I'll take it. You know what I mean?
We considered that a win, a moral victory.
We really
did.
That's victory. How sad it was. The state of the football program where you're I'm just glad it was competitive. We had a chance to win, blah, 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 blah. We got Travis Hunter. Anyways, then the Jacksonville State game came where we were up 17-7 with 5 minutes left, and everything just went south. And then obviously we started out 0-3. We got waxed by Wake after that. And we talked about it, and I went back to our first couple of episodes just to listen, just to kind of see how we were talking back then. And Tyler was just on his high horse, happy, not high horse, just hey, we're 3-0, we're excited. Even when they lost the Alabama game, he was just hey, we're really excited to face Alabama again in the SEC championship. I really feel like we could win it, and we didn't have AR-15, and that's our boy, we can't say that AR-15 anymore. But anyways, I'm going real into detail just because we tried to do the episode before and it didn't really work out. And I talked about this kind of stuff. So we talked about Florida State, how easy, if we won that Notre Dame game, we weren't going to lose that Jacksonville State game after that. And then we go into Wake with a whole different attitude where I don't think they waxed us like they did. So now we play that Duquesne game, 47-7. We didn't really do too much, we didn't do any trick plays. We just kind of played powerhouse football, ran a lot, took a couple shots deep, and that was it. 47-7 game, but it was nice.
well over like 400 yards rushing or something. We had 3 guys over
The
100
three
yards.
guys with 100 yards.
Yeah.
We had another guy for like 59. Jordan Travis only had 11. I mean, we're not trying to get him hurt because we know our season's down the drain after he's done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But we did what we were supposed to. And it was just refreshing, because the last couple of times we played at Jackson State or Samford or something, we're going in the fourth quarter sweating bullets, you know what I'm saying? So it was
Yeah.
nice. I mean, I actually heard of those teams before. But
Right.
so here we are, LSU game. I think the biggest thing for me was the drives. I mean, we didn't have any 3 and outs. That was just a consistent thing that we were dealing with last year. Even if we had like a good first down play, now we're going 2 for 2. The next play was a false start. The next play was a holding penalty. And the next play was like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? You were just so like, this is dysfunctional. What is going on?
Yeah.
I tried to look. I'm not going to sit here and count it for you right now, but I think the smallest drive we had was probably at the end of the game when we fumbled the ball after the month kick.
Yeah.
First drive, 10 to
That was
13.
your only turnover the whole game, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
First drive was like 10 to 13 plays. Second drive was 10 or 13 plays. Even the one that we went for it on fourth down, it was like a 14, 15-yard play. Come back after halftime, another 11-yard or 11-play drive. Like it was just like, holy cow. And it was almost like you kind of saw why we hired Mike Norvell. Like, okay, he was doing stuff at Memphis, which if you see like in the NFL now, he has a lot of talent that's in the NFL that he coached from Memphis. I don't know. You might not know these people because I'm a psychopath in fantasy football with Tony Pollard for the Dallas Cowboys, Kenneth Gainwell for the Philadelphia Eagles, Antonio Gibson for the Washington Commanders. I mean, he knows how to run the ball. And I just remembered hearing the announcers say, like, they're really switching up these packages to keep everything like new for LSU. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we took advantage of it. Like, we didn't have a 100-yard rusher today. I don't even know if we rushed for 100 yards. But dang, if a 3-yard carry was not very important on these drives, or a 4-yard carry. Like, we took advantage of short, small, 3 yards here, 4 yards here, 5-yard pass, 6-yard pass, 1-yard pass, 2-yard play, 8-yard play. I mean, first down. The third down efficiency, last time I saw was like, it was crazy I think 67% at halftime. I don't see how it slowed down. Let's see, 11 for 16 for the game.
That's pretty damn good.
131 total rushing yards. We started kind of opening up a little bit more in the second half compared to the first half with the rushing. But my biggest takeaway as I went into this whole deep hole, dug out of it, here I'm at, it's just the being able to drive down the field, how it felt good. Even if we lost, we wouldn't have done a podcast right now because I would have thrown the computer out the window or something. But I would have came on here and just be like, it was really nice to see extended drives, especially on third downs, being able to
moving the ball.
It just felt so good because all our touchdowns last year were home runs. It will lose 45 to 7 or 14. Oh, we had a 90-yard run. We had a 85-yard Hail Mary. Like,
when the like the third stringers are in. I agree. And like early on, first off, the Duquesne game, right? That's when you should win. They didn't cover the spread, but I mean, the spread was huge.
We weren't trying to run up the score on it. We controlled it.
We did. And then also, like, I even feel like we played them last year. That game might be like 20 to 40. or
Yeah.
something, you know what I mean? Like,
Who
so
knows?
yeah,
Really,
you
right.
you like to see like leading off against a team like that's a high school that you crush them, you dominate, you do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Coming into this game, we're going to Louisiana.
Mhm.
It's at the Superdome, right? I think the spread on this one was
3.5, 4.
three and a
Yeah.
half, 4. Yeah. So yeah, this was one of those games where it's like, all right, LSU's been pretty bad over the last few years,
Mhm.
you know, since they won that natty a few years back with Coach O. But it's still
They just
LSU,
caught
like,
lightning in
right?
a bottle, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect year, right? But it's still LSU. They still recruit the top players in the country. Like, they're still athletes, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, we come out like blazing, and then you know we have that early blocked kick, and then I think that was the transfer, Jared Verse, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
From
yeah. So
Albany.
did you guys catch how we got them? So I guess like they said we were scouting
Scouting.
for Syracuse,
Yeah.
and they were like, who the hell is this kid on Albany that's like rushing and sacking every time? Like,
Yeah, they said he
pretty.
gained like 40 pounds over his freshman year in Albany, like, I guess from high school to getting on the team, and just was like beast.
Well, that's relatable. Yeah,
And
I mean,
Yeah, we did it a different way, Adam.
yeah. It wasn't eating good and working out
protein
5.
bars.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like amazing game. Just like actually, you know, when you get down to the plays, um, quarterback just looked the biggest thing, confidence, man. Like, and they
Yeah.
actually mentioned that like before. They were like, oh, he's prepared, he's confident. Like, he just looked like he was confident. He knew what he wanted to do. He extended the play with his legs,
Yeah.
like when he needed to, and then got the ball downfield. That, I think that first touchdown, he severely underthrew.
Sorry.
God bless you.
Thank you.
That first touchdown,
Bless you.
yeah, bless you. We need to call 911.
Yeah.
That first touchdown, he severely underthrew the receiver. Where you could see when it came out of his hand, it was kind of like a Tim Tebow pass, like a duck. You remember how
The
he used to
flea
throw those?
flicker?
No, it was the flea flicker. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the receiver like had
He
the
was like,
the
leave me,
quarterback.
like, leave me. Yeah.
And then he had to come back to the ball, and he
Yeah.
threw like a duck, like a Tim Tebow like pass or whatever.
Yeah. The
But
receiver went
other
and
than
got
that,
it.
yeah, he went and got it. It was good. We kind of talked about this before when we tried to record. Offensive line, defensive line
Mhm.
looks like they're improved a lot.
Mhm.
Which, you know, I mean, you get those two things, and then the LSU quarterback Daniels.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as a throwing quarterback, they may as well put you out there, Hardle,
Yeah.
or Tyler.
I would have had more
Harder
passing
been better. Are you
yards.
kidding me?
I would have been Jared Lorenzen out there, but more passing yards.
Yeah, and I remember the announcers like, oh yeah, Brian Kelly said that they clocked him on GPS running 21 miles an hour. It's like,
And that's a quarterback. Yeah,
right.
I'm not too sure he is a quarterback in
Right,
NFL
yeah,
terms
like,
right now.
yeah. Well, you know what he can't do 21 miles an hour is throw a football, because he throw like the dude can't throw to save his life. But yeah, like
Yeah, I
Verse.
think Hardo's talking trash at one point in the first half, trying to compare him to Anthony Richardson. And I looked at it, and I think he had like 29 passing yards, and it was almost the end of the first half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy low.
But yeah, good game. So I guess a couple things to talk about. When it happened, going for it on 4th and goal,
Yeah.
I liked it.
Mhm.
You're away, you're in a hostile environment, you
Mhm.
have the lead, like, go for it. It should have been a touchdown. What was it? Pittman was the guy
Pittman, it was like
he
the play was there to be made. Like, I think he
yeah,
had a hand on it.
he dropped the pass.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I like it in the moment, but that's also one of those things that you play like Monday morning quarterback, where you're like, oh, we should have went for it. But those
Yeah.
potential 3 points that we could have got from a field goal
We wouldn't
almost
have been
came
sweating
back.
bullets like we were.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that,
Well, we missed
and
the
then
field goal prior to that. So I
right.
wonder if that had any, like, here's a chance we can get those points back. I don't think
or
he was
maybe
because it was on the 8-yard line. We weren't
Norvell
missing a
didn't have
field goal.
confidence in I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? And then the
We
other
did
play
end up
call.
kicking a field goal after that.
Yes.
But yeah.
the play call that I did not like. So we were on the goal line. They did that fullback, like basically direct handoff or not direct, but like gave it, we were in the I formation and the fullback that scored is a linebacker, right? And then the next time when we're down in the, or not, maybe not the next time, but then when we fumbled, we're pitching it.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, run the clock out. We would have been better off kneeling the ball 3 times and kicking a field goal than having the quarterback pitch it to the running back and dropping the ball. So that's what obviously changed the whole game, like near the last minute and a half. And then the other thing is, I hate to be this person. I feel like no one likes to hear this. The guy that went out of bounds was inbounds. And if they would have called it correctly, time would have expired and the game was over.
Then that was a weird call or a weird rule to find out at the end. Like they're like basically, it's not even like they added the 2 seconds back. It was like he's gonna get a chance to snap it. Like,
I think
the rule. He gets a chance to snap it.
Say like you'll get it. He's going to be able to snap it.
Yeah, calm down.
Brian
you got
Kelly.
Time. Yeah.
Like
what? That was nuts. I'd never heard that before.
Norvell was just like, well, screw this. I'll just call timeout.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But I mean, that was kind of just really weird.
Yeah.
And then another miracle block. Like it's rare. You could probably watch 30 straight college football or NFL games and not see a block punt or a block kick. Right. And we had 2 of them.
Yeah. So, I mean, it reminded me of because it was the end of the game. Also, it was DeMarcus Walker. Miami tied it up or was going to tie it up. I think it was like 28-27. And they went to kick the extra point and we blocked the extra point with DeMarcus Walker from Sandalwood High School. Just throwing out a little knowledge. Jacksonville Duval stuff.
Right.
DeMarcus, we know you watch. Shout out.
And then endorses.
Yeah. Come on the podcast. We'd love to have you on. And then the 2 muff punts.
Yeah.
So so you if you take those 2 muff punts back, it's a whole different ball game. It's for both teams. So many things could happen. I feel like we had the advantage the most of the time, not as in like, play calls or the ball bounces your way or whatever. Because you can go to the Gator game and ETN fumbles that ball, is game over. If he doesn't jump back onto it, which we'll get into that later. But it's just so many plays like that. Like it's just crazy. I mean, going back to the NFL playoff game with the Bills and the Chiefs, like 13 seconds left, and you're like, "Well, this game's over." No, it's not. It's crazy. And when we fumble the ball, so the pitch to it, and even that full linebacker scoring a touchdown, if we handed it off to the linebacker and he fumbled it, we're talking about how the hell did you hand it off to a damn linebacker?
To a defensive guy.
Like what the hell are you thinking? And then we make that pitch and he scores. We're not even thinking about the pitch. But when those things happen,
it's always easy.
The hell out,
it's always easy to play devil's out. Yeah, you're right. It's always easy to play devil's advocate with that and with going forward on 4th. Yeah. But I mean,
Norvell learned a lesson tonight. I feel.
I think he did too.
You might look in that situation now, and like we would have been golden kneeling it. Making them use a timeout, whatever the case may have been. If they had timeouts,
kick a field goal or something.
Kick a field goal. Let's not like we just got a blessing here with this muff. I would like to get it in the end zone. I would have handed off, maybe not pitch it anymore. I mean, he's learning.
Yeah.
But I think overall the game plan outstanding. The team looks way better. Nothing like last year or the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, this team will probably 2 games in, a lot can change. Jordan Travis is hurt.
I think we might make a bowl this year.
I think we beat the 2017 team. If Francois's hurt and they got 3 months from high school, James Blackman in, this team might can beat that team. And we're talking about a studded team, So I don't know. Whichever win for this game, LSU or Florida State, because LSU had that 6-6 season or 6-5, whatever they were. this is going to propel, I don't know the word I'm trying to find here, but this is going to give that fan base like excitement,
Yeah.
and I've been saying this a lot lately, even before the LSU game. It's like winning is contagious, and this goes for Florida too. It's
Yeah.
just like I read this story one time. It was I think he was announcing the game, the quarterback for Alabama, when Saban first went there. They were like under 500. They went like 5-7 or something like that. But I think they won like the last 3 games. But Mick, I don't know.
Yeah.
McElroy.
McElroy.
Yeah,
McElroy.
McElroy.
Not the
Yeah.
coach.
You're trying
So,
you're trying to compare the golfer and the
but he was
quarterback.
saying, like, man, we patched a couple wins there at the end of the season. And next thing you know, we won 14 straight games and then won a national championship. And he was like, winning is contagious. And when you get a team that starts believing in it and just like, okay, yeah, we scrape by with the skin of our teeth, whatever. Like, I would have liked to win this game 24-10 or,
Of course. Yeah,
whatever.
come on, make a statement.
Yeah, it could
absolutely.
have. It could have easily been that.
Right.
One other thing to point out from that game, Booty, the LSU
Right, Boutte,
5-star.
yeah.
We basically shut him down. So we're
Dude,
DBU again. We're DBU
I don't think
again.
they have a
by the way.
quarterback. I don't think that guy has any accuracy. I mean, yeah, he
No.
could throw a
Well,
5-yard pass.
So you gotta, I don't know like what was going on with that guy today, but like there was that one pass where he's running in the end zone, he's not even looking. Dude hit him right in the stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't, maybe and it could be
he saw the
could be
safety. It was
too.
like, there's
He's got
no way it was getting.
he's got no faith in his quarterback. That could be a guy right there that's like, this guy sucks. And he's
Yeah.
not even worried about it. And then he, they go figure their first game of the season. He runs out there for a pass. He hits him right in the belly. He's not even looking. But
I think he would have been depleted. He's like, well, there's no way. There's safeties coming at me. And this is what the announcer said too. Like, he saw that safety and he knew, like,
his
there was
eyes
no
might have been
way
straight on
that
that
he was
safety. Yeah.
throwing to me.
Right.
And it hit him in his thigh pad,
And
which is
I-
probably
I-
the best accuracy he had all night.
Yeah.
I think right now also he's like the projected #1 receiver in the draft. So maybe
Yeah.
he's trying to preserve that. I mean, who
He's like,
knows?
yeah, I ain't catching this.
Yeah, I've seen a couple
He's like,
Florida
yeah,
State players do that.
the
back
end of
in
my
the day.
season in game 1.
But yeah, positive things. Like I said, we got the most wins in the country.
Yeah.
2-0.
Yeah,
Should
if
we
we were
hop
Gators,
into?
we'd be pounding our chests and be like, rank me.
Yeah.
We're not there yet. We're
Yeah,
gonna need to
yeah.
see a little
Okay,
bit
first
more.
off, I know you think that Utah's the 40
Trash.
whatever team in the country in the real, but
Were
they
they
are
the
ranked number
Atlantic Sun?
7. So you would think when you play the number 7 team, you're not even ranked. You would think you should at least get ranked.
Are they in the Metro Conference? What
Right,
conference
right.
they in?
You're
Yeah.
talking about the MEAC.
It's
Well,
something
no.
like that.
No, Gator fans think when you beat the number 7 team that you should
They
just switch
automatically
spots.
go to
Don't
7,
make
'cause
me
they're
go
in the
back on you
SEC.
and the stuff that you said in the
They're
past.
used to it.
Don't make me go back and pull Oklahoma when Oklahoma is preseason #1. Y'all were number 5, and then y'all lost. And then you're talking about how Oklahoma is definitely the #1 team in the nation. I think they ended up with a couple of losses that
who
season.
had a very long career in the NFL.
But they weren't the #1 team in the nation, and
They were at the time.
Yeah.
Right? But they didn't end up that way.
Yeah, we didn't
They
win a
are
national
who we thought they
championship.
were.
Right,
We let them
exactly.
off the hook.
We won a
I
national
don't want to
championship
hear
just a
anything
couple
about
years
fans
later.
talking trash. Fans talk trash. Fans are irrational.
No, of course.
Don't
Of
come
course.
to me
Of
with
Guess
course
who
they
won?
do.
That's nonsense.
Guess who won a national championship between that game 3 years later? Florida State.
Not
Not
Oklahoma, who
Oklahoma.
you were
Don't
saying was
know.
clearly the #1 team in the
Don't
nation.
know. I'd
Yeah,
rather be
that
in
was
my
Jameis who
shoes.
came later. He wasn't a part of that team.
Oh, sorry.
Eat the W.
Right.
All right. So Hartle, anything more for the Florida State game other than we are back and
I'm still learning players' names. I mean, just with, we'll continue to see each week, but it's just crazy with all these transfers and stuff. And it was like, we talked about it 2 years ago. It's like,
yeah, the transfer portal was
I
crazy.
didn't like it. I was like, I don't like it, but in the situation we're in, this could really work out for us.
Yeah.
And it's kind of leaning towards that way. We'll see how the rest of the season goes, but man, that's what a hell of a win. I mean, controlled that whole game. We made some stupid mistakes there at the end. And I don't know what defense we were trying to run that last 99-yard drive they had. but it was not working.
It was awful.
I think we learned a lot in this one also, but to come out on top, I mean, I'm at this point, you don't take it and go with it.
Who y'all got next week?
Wake Forest, ranked Wake Forest, BC, 8:00.
BC?
No, that's our next home game. Sorry. Yeah, that's how good of a fan I am.
That matters to Ryan right there.
We got
Ryan's working day.
We got Louisville at Louisville,
Which I think
7:30.
they got another scrambling quarterback, is my understanding.
Well, if he's as good as the one tonight, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, that means he can't throw. I've seen a lot of quarterbacks that can't throw right now. And let's just touch up on that real quick. Jordan Travis is, when you look at the LSU quarterback, I don't know if you watched the Gator game last night, but like Jordan Travis is not trying to run at all.
That's his second option. That's his second thing that he does.
And I think that's the difference between the two other quarterbacks I talked about. When he goes back there, like, and I think it's just maturity, because there's so many times where it's just like your offensive line can't block and you're just running for your life.
Yeah.
You know, and then
we saw that a lot last year. We saw that a lot last year.
So that's something that I really enjoy seeing, because I think that was the biggest question on him this coming in this year. You know, we didn't show a lot in the Duquesne game, but tonight was like amazing in the trust on the third downs, third and shorts, the third and mids, you know, the third and sixes, the third and sevens, the third and eights, and just like come through time after time. And yeah, he'll have to get out the pocket, or he'd have to kind of maneuver, he did a couple circus spins. I mean, nothing as fancy as AR-15.
He did the best jump pass he did the best jump pass I've ever seen.
Yeah, better than Tebow. Like, I think Tebow's always went like by 8 to 10 yards.
Sorry,
Tebow
this thing was like,
did he do the double pump?
It was 30 yards.
I actually had
single pump
for that one. I was trying to get my podcast. I was like, I get my podcast.
But yeah, I'll take it. I love it. Let's beat Louisville and make this win contagious.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely positive from last year. We're moving in the right direction. I mean, I'm not saying like we're going to win the national championship, but in a few years when it goes to 16 teams, we'll be in it. So
there you go.
Yeah. Or 32.
Yeah. Real quick.
We'll get there eventually.
Jacksonville Jaguars, no games yet.
We're just going to skip that.
Nothing of substance to cover. Trevor Lawrence is still sunshine. He's going to win a Super Bowl eventually. So let's move into the Florida game.
Mm-hmm.
Also a crazy, amazing game.
Came down on the last play, just like this one.
Tyler, thoughts?
We're gonna try to be respectful as much as we can.
Right. Yeah. That's right. All your disrespect was already in the text message group. So
go ahead.
I couldn't take it anymore, man. I have to listen to that crap all the time. I was like, I'm not taking it anymore. It's like, and we're talking about this on the podcast. So yeah, I don't care what Ryan says. I think that Utah is
the number 7 team in the country.
So yes, they were preseason number 7, but preseason rankings mean nothing. So
like Oklahoma.
Yeah,
right. I agree. The preseason rankings mean nothing.
Right.
So they're just all guessing based off of the previous season, and maybe a couple of additions. So, but still, I think they were a good team. They've got 2 really good tight ends. They gave us trouble all night, but we really didn't know what to expect for Florida. We know that Florida's also thin. That was a big issue. Is can we stay healthy? And that's going to be the issue through the season. Is are we going to be able to stay healthy? But it was tough. I'm worried about our defense. The defense, they kind of moved the field on us pretty well last night, but
yeah,
I think Napier said, Napier said he brought up a good point. It was like, I think so. That's 4 red zone times where they either held him to a field goal or they held him to no score, and we scored in the red zone every time. So
it should have been a blowout.
What's that?
So it should have been a blowout.
Yeah, except for you go by reality and not what possibly could have happened, Ryan. Yeah. And it doesn't matter if you have a play 9 out of 10 times would have scored, what happened is what happened, and we intercepted the ball at the end there to stop the game. So you still got to make the plays when it comes down to it at the end. Florida State would have gone into overtime, but they blocked the extra point.
What? Oh, and we didn't go in overtime.
You would have gone into overtime.
We already blocked a kick. We did it again. We'd block it right now.
Right.
We
okay.
line up right now.
He's
Line
gonna
up
block
right
all the
now.
kicks. Nobody's gonna be able to kick a Florida State this year.
Hey, just cut your kicker. You don't need him when you play
There
us.
you go. Yeah.
Yeah,
Your kicker's
so,
pointless.
So
Don't
Anthony
even put him on the
Richardson,
bus when you come to play Florida State.
yeah, Anthony Richardson, 17 for 24, threw for 168. That's 70% percentage. And then he ran for 106. So still a running quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3
think-
touchdowns. Did he have any interceptions?
No,
No, he didn't
No,
throw
no
enough.
interceptions. Yeah.
he didn't throw
enough.
enough. We didn't throw as much. I think that we kind of with it being his first start in the big game, and honestly a lot of turnovers last year, so I think it was kind of a safe game plan trying to ease him in. I know that he's this great athlete and that's what everybody's excited about, but he's got to do better than that performance wise if he's going to be any kind of big time quarterback. Not even talking about Heisman, just talking about top quarterbacks going into the draft, which they keep trying to talk about with him. He's got to be able to do more passing, but we ran the ball really well. We had almost 300 yards rushing. Over 100 of that was actually Anthony Richardson. He was the only one that's actually over 100 yards for the team. I think we were like 77 and then maybe some in the 60s. ETN. So a little shout out to the Jags. So Jags got running back ETN. The Gators got running back ETN. He's a freshman. But I was excited what I saw from him in his first game. Although he did have that fumble that he managed to jump on, that could have been a huge, but that would have ended the game had he not been able to jump on that ball. But luckily,
Unless you're Florida State, then you would have pitched the ball and fumbled it.
Right. Yeah. And then Florida State would have just given the ball right back.
On the 1 yard line.
Right,
Yeah.
See if you can go
going
99
into the end zone.
yards.
Just
Hey,
giving it right
it's
back.
okay.
There you go.
It's okay, guys. They're not going to drive 99 yards.
And if they did, we're just gonna block the extra point. You know what I mean?
Right,
Yeah.
Let's just hope they don't go for 2.
But also, so we've got that Johnson, the transfer from talking about not knowing the names. He's a transfer from Louisiana. So he came over with
He came with Billy.
Yeah.
Is that kind of recruitment violation? We need to look into this.
Right. But I mean, he looked good. He did have, so on that first drive, which actually kind of threw us into, he fumbled, but he had, I think they said it was like we had 4 plays. So I caught it like, I think the third play. I came in on the third play because they switched the game over to ESPN News. So they deked us a little bit. So the
y'all playing who? Utah
ESPN, they moved to ESPN News. Huh?
I mean, y'all were just playing Utah. It's not like
we were only playing
powerhouse.
number 17.
Like if you were to line up the
powerhouse.
defensive line.
They were actually underrated, and they probably were the number 2 team in the nation behind us. And honestly, I don't know why that we weren't like the premier game. Why we had to be,
this exceptional running you did from them. Where would you put the Utah defensive line in the SEC rankings?
I mean,
probably number 7.
They're on par. They're on par with Vanderbilt.
I mean, they're definitely behind Georgia and Alabama, and then I'm sure there's a couple other. But I'm not paying attention to like every single defensive line in the SEC.
No,
I can tell you that's one thing that I heard all summer when it came to Utah was that they're this tough physical team, and I'm like, well, okay, that's cool. I think we even talked about that. Like, yeah, they're tough and physical, but Florida does play in the SEC.
Do they have any
plenty
Florida
of tough physical teams?
athletes?
We're used to playing that. What's that?
Do they have any Florida athletes? You know what I'm saying? That's the difference, in my opinion.
No, they don't. And the reason, that people talk about Utah is only because of how they develop their players, and then I guess maybe they're disciplined. But I don't think that Utah is a playoff team, and maybe not top 10. But I don't. You're sitting there talking like they're number 40 team in the nation, and I don't think that they're that far down. I think they're a solid team, a good team that's going to have a good season, and then it's impossible to know what that's going to be.
Right.
I'll let you know by the end of the season. Oh, remember that number 7 team in the country that you?
All right. What happens? So what happens? What happens if they win the Pac-12 again, and then they stay up in the top 10?
Who cares? It's still the Pac-12. Who cares?
Yeah, I guess they're gonna be.
So there's nothing that they can do. There's nothing they can do to ever prove it. So then what?
No, I'm not saying that, but it's still the Pac-12.
I'm
Yeah.
saying, but then
Like-
they're the top 10. So are we saying that there's no way that they can prove themselves?
I don't think
No,
they're the
I'm
seventh.
not
I think they're
saying that.
closer to the 47th best ranked team than they are the 7th in the country. That's just my opinion.
That-
I don't
that
know.
might
Based
be
off
right.
of what though? Just because the
I don't-
Pac-12 sucks?
I don't know any of their names.
You can't pronounce
I
it.
didn't see him. I didn't see him in any like recruiting.
All
When
the
I was looking at
Polynesians.
Travis Hunter, I didn't see Utah Utes up there in the top 10 ever in my like recruiting career.
Well,
I know Keith
well,
Van Horn. I mean, he played basketball, but
So-
he was really outstanding for Utah.
So this will be interesting. They got Southern Utah next. They got San Diego State after that.
yeah,
and then-
you're right.
and
Tyler.
then-
They're
and then-
powerhouse.
Then they have another Gator that's probably going to beat them, Arizona State. So Emory gets a chance at them.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna
they-
show
See how
up
many picks he throws.
He had 168 yards passing. I'm gonna show him up.
They got Oregon State after that, UCLA, USC, Washington. I mean, they
I
play
was
some
trying
good
to look at the
teams.
second half stats for you, Ryan, because like on 168, I mean, that's not good at all. But
I didn't.
I think the majority of that came the second half.
I
Like,
didn't even
the
see
first
the
half looked
game
bad.
until the fourth quarter. It was 19-14 Utah, and then I just saw a scoring frenzy back and forth. Neither team could stop each other at all.
Yeah. So the
and
second
then just
half,
rushing.
the whole second half was it was different.
Florida,
than
we
the
got
first half.
rushed on just as much as you talking about you're rushing. Utah rushed
Yeah.
all over y'all.
Yes.
And that was my whole thing at the end. I was just like, when it was 23 seconds left, I'm like, you can still run the ball. You've ran it on them all day long. You hurry up and snap. You know, if you don't
Yeah, but
get
you
it,
also know, like we know that you can, but we also know like that's just not how coaches work.
you
Most of the
didn't
time.
know that. You dropped 7 back every single time. You were
I'm
looking
saying
for the
you,
pass.
me, and Adam, we know, like we can see that the team is rushing all over Florida. We say this stuff a lot when we see games. They're like they're rushing all day on them.
Yeah. Once you're in a game like that, I really don't think there's anything you can like turn it around. You know what I'm saying? It's just like they kind of have their way, and you know it, they know it, and you do what you can adjust where you can take advantage in part of the game. It's just weird how it works out that time, like that way sometimes.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I definitely
Mhm.
would say that the smart, I don't know the smart, but to me, what seems like it's like the obvious play is like you're rushing it right down Florida's throat. You keep rushing it, you're in there close to the end zone, and then you run it in there. But you are dealing with a running clock, and you don't have any more timeouts, and so heaven
Well, it
forbid,
looked like
Florida stops you, and then
it looked like they were just going for the field goal. Like once they hit like the 40 on their side and then they crossed the 50, it was like they were really just focused. They were just going short. And then they busted wide open with like a 25-yarder. And then it was like, whoa, this is game here, or at least field goal to go in overtime. At that point, I feel like they couldn't handle it, or they just kind of like, I mean, the announcers were saying it too. They're just like, they're dropping 7 back every time. And I think even Adams is like, somebody I remember talking to was like, man, I feel like you're going to throw a pick here or something, just because the field kept getting shorter and shorter and shorter. And if you keep dropping 7 back.
Well,
you know,
and I think that's a sign of like that's the difference between a really good offense and then just a good offense. So especially like in the big games, a good offense will disappear in the red zone against a good defense. And I don't even know if you really call Florida a good defense right now, but they definitely didn't look at yesterday. But they'll disappear in the red zone and not score. But then in between the red zones, you know, they'll move it back and forth all day long. I mean, you can say Florida last year had that big problem where we could move it a lot in between the red zone, you know, before the red zone. When we get to the red zone, we couldn't do anything because it tightened that field. You got to be more precise. And you said that Anthony Richardson's not an accurate quarterback. Well, Cam Rising didn't look that accurate yesterday until maybe that last drive. And then we got in the red zone, or they got in the red zone, and then he threw a pick there in the end zone.
It looks like he was throwing to one
force
receiver the whole game. I mean, I think rather in the last drive, it was like the receiver that was tearing y'all up, number 80. It was like he had like 12 passes to him, and the rest of the team had 8.
And he was a matchup nightmare for us. So he's that
Mhm.
hybrid tight end, and they compared him a lot to
Some famous
the tight end
NFL
we had
player.
from a couple years ago. It's with Atlanta right
Aaron
now.
Hernandez.
Pitts.
Oh, you are not comparing that guy with Pitts. Get the
I'm
heck
not.
out of here.
I'm not, but that was
That's
a
the
lot of
most
the talk of like,
ridiculous thing.
because
That
he's that
actually-
hybrid, he's just a
That pisses
mismatch.
me off.
It's
All right.
so it's not
Compare
saying
him
that
to
he
Chris
is Pitts or he's going to
Doering.
be Pitts.
It's
It's just that he's
compare
a
him to Chris
matchup
Doering.
nightmare. He's a big guy
6'4".
who's too big for the corners, but he's too fast for the linebackers.
We're gonna look back on this podcast. He's gonna be like the best NFL tight end.
Do I get to say what do you say now, Ryan?
sucks.
Do I get to say something then?
I told you.
Right.
You.
Problem
I
is I'll
do have
forget
a
all about it.
question. I think this is more poking fun of Gator fans because I went. It's like it's weird because it's like I'll start out going for Florida, and then just my garden and gold glasses come on, and I'm just like, screw them. Look at them fans. They think they're just like the greatest thing that hit this world. Do you think y'all are a top 25 collegiate football team after that win?
I'm not that person though. Like I'm never the person. It's just not me. Like, and maybe that's why I'm a bad person for a podcast, because I'm not going to be that fanatic who's like, I watched one game against one team. You can go back to our podcast last year. I think it was after the Alabama game that we lost. And I was like, we don't even know who Alabama is. Well,
Yeah,
Alabama
I
ended up
remember
winning the national, well, not winning, beating Georgia in the SEC championship, going to the national championship game, and then losing to Georgia there. So it's still a very good Alabama team that we almost went to overtime with. If it wasn't for a missed extra point. That's just not me. I'm not going to be this guy that like, I know what Utah is, or I know what they're not, and I know what Florida is. I don't know. I saw an Anthony Richardson who he showed off his athletic ability. He's got a cannon for an arm, but he is that was his second start in college. And I think that the coach allowed him to kind of play it soft and easy and ease in to a tough team that there was no, I mean, it doesn't matter where Utah ends up. Utah almost beat us in the swamp. They almost came over from Utah and beat us in the swamp.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for an interception to stop them, basically. So, I mean, I don't know what we are, and I'm not going to say what we are, but Utah's preseason ranked number 7. Rankings mean nothing at this point.
Yeah.
Put us in the top 25. Because we're going to go play Kentucky next week, and we might lose, and they just drop us right out of the top 25.
Viewership, they'll probably have y'all ranked just for the Kentucky game, so the more people can maybe tune to it, because that's all the SEC is about.
Rankings come out.
Rankings
came out today
college
or
football's
tomorrow.
about, bud. Yeah. College football. It's all about the
SEC
money.
only.
Rankings came out today or tomorrow, or they'll come out tomorrow.
Probably after Monday, after the Clemson game.
That's what I was saying. Just because we got one more game.
They'll just instead of coming out at noon, they'll come out Tuesday at noon. Maybe I don't know. They might just say screw it and put it out. I don't know. It's Labor Day too. They might be off.
True.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, both of us starting off the season like this, where it's like we both could be 0-1 right now, and just
well, we could
not
be
even
one
talking
of
crap.
one. We could be 1-1.
Oh yeah, because but
yeah, for sure.
Here we are.
That was I mean, that was just really exciting. I mean,
how did you feel before the pick? How did I
feel?
I mean, how did you feel like we're going to lose this game?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's my thought. I was like, dang it, panicking. Just like I was and going in, I was like, I don't even know how I feel. Like before Cam had that big run, I don't even know how I felt there. Like I'm like, I don't know how I feel going into overtime. Like,
yeah,
maybe. I mean, I guess I'm just kind of more pessimistic with the fact that he wasn't killing it passing. Like he had a much better second half passing than he did the first half. The first half, I feel like he had almost no passing. He missed a lot of passes. The second half, his passing was much better, but it was also like, it was the safe stuff. It's because of his athletic ability. He's able to get out there, scramble around, and it's hard for guys to defend a cornerback.
He's a big guy too. Like how tall is he too? Like he's like 6'4", 2.
And he's listed 6'4", 240. You feel like that stuff's always inflated. So he's probably more like 6'3", 230. But he's
fast. Like
Yes, he's definitely fast. So
It's just, I don't know, it's just weird, just like comparing him to Jordan Travis, because I'm pretty sure Jordan Travis can run faster than him. I mean, just a dead on sprint. Like,
maybe. I don't know. That dude can
but
take
this
off.
quick twitch, I don't think Jordan Travis really has. I think Jordan Travis is a straightaway kind of guy, might beat you at an angle, but
Yeah, well,
AR
yeah, I'll
is that
definitely say,
more
and I think that's
like,
what makes him. I think that's
yeah.
what stands him out because there's a lot of fast quarterbacks out there, especially
Mhm.
at straightaway speed. And that's what makes him stand out is that there was one play where he had a big run
Gets a
Saturday
touchdown,
where
45-yard touchdown.
yeah, and so their cornerback was him and one other cornerback, and that
Yeah.
cornerback wanted nothing to do with tackle him, I think, but he just kind of did one little like this and then cut to the left.
Yeah.
And that quarterback had no chance to tackle him.
Yeah.
And he's just run off. So he can move, like he can shift. He can shift
Mhm.
really well for a guy of that size.
Yeah.
And then when you think that he's a quarterback and not like a running back or a wide receiver, something like that, it is.
So we know as Florida State fans that Jordan Travis is out for the season. He gets hurt, we're done. It's not even a joking matter. It's not like Jameis Winston gets suspended for jumping on the table and saying some explicit stuff during a rape trial. But we had Sean McGuire come in and beat Clemson. If AR-15 was to go down, get suspended, whatever, how does the Florida Gators look?
So we have that transfer out of Ohio State. He's out for the first couple of games. So if it happens like this coming week, if he were to
He's the
go
next
out,
Joe Burrow,
right?
because Joe Burrow came from Ohio State to LSU.
That
So
is true.
that's what
Except
I'm
Joe
waiting
Burrow
for.
then
Yeah.
did have a full season at LSU before he had his great season.
Okay.
So this guy would be coming in as a backup role, probably not going to be Joe Burrow. He didn't look that sharp in the spring game, so I
Mhm.
kind of feel like if it's not Anthony Richardson, then we don't have an answer. Kitna, was it Dan Kitna for the NFL?
Yeah.
His like I think
Joe
it's his son
Kitna.
is like the
Yeah,
backup.
I thought it was Joe Kitna.
Yeah.
Is it Joe Kitna?
Seattle
Okay.
Seahawks. What the hell are you talking about, Tyler?
Yeah,
Well, that's how well I know. But anyway,
wasn't Joe Kitna
his
wasn't Joe
son
Kitna
is like the
very
backup quarterback.
thick?
Yeah, I think he had a bald head. He looked good.
Yeah, just like you, Hartle.
Anyway, so that's I think that's one of our backups behind the Ohio State transfer.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Who do
So
y'all have
yeah,
next week?
we're in trouble.
You said you had Kentucky next week.
You got Kentucky next week.
We got any
They beat us
insight on
last
that?
year. They beat us. Now we got them at home this year. So hopefully
They've
never beat us
lost
2 years in a row.
their top talent, Wendell Robinson, which we had no clue who the hell he was. That was the number one guy that just kind of can run around everywhere and score touchdowns. Supposedly he got the starting position of the team he got drafted, the Giants. He is the slot receiver, and just like in the fantasy world, people are talking very highly of him. They drafted him for a reason. He's starting. Get ready, buckle up. Small guy. I mean, he's really not a big receiver, which slots usually aren't.
I remember that another blunder. I want to say it was another blunder for Dan Mullen, and they asked him about that guy before the Kentucky game, and he was like, "Who's that?" And I guess it's one of those things where it's like coaches really know the numbers; they don't pay too much attention to the name.
Like Urban, I
so
heard that 99 is good for the Rams.
yeah.
Like, oh yeah.
Yeah, that's Aaron Donald. Maybe game plan around that.
Hey, right? How about you walk over to him and kick him like you did Lambo and see what happens?
Yeah, we'll see if it's the same result. But anyway, so he was like, "Who is that guy?" And then so they took it as a personal slight, and so then when they beat us and he ran all over us, that was a big deal that he did that. So, but they still got that quarterback from last year who he played really good against us too. And I'm, like I said, we're trying to get back into the whole flow of college football. We're the guys that kind of follow it during the season and get really into it. But off season we got a bunch of other stuff going on.
We talked about doing like season predictions and maybe going through the schedule and stuff like that. I mean, honestly, I'm kind of this wait and approach. I don't want to like do that, but I think going to a bowl, which Adam mentioned earlier, that's that 6-game threshold. 7 would be nice, just being over 500 instead of right at 500. I
Just 5
mean,
more.
right, but like
I'll
8 and
I'll say it.
4 or
I'll
a
say
9
it.
and
I
3,
think we're gonna win 8 games.
dude. 8 or 9 wins. I think, like, as a Florida Gator fan, I'd be like, crap, because we really hadn't like came through with this like dominant recruiting class or anything like that. But I think the players have bought in. I mean, to keep Jordan Travis healthy is going to be very breathtaking here and there. Especially he gets up limping or goes in that little hut they do on the sideline.
Dude, he took that targeting call tonight.
Dude,
I was like, oh
that
shit,
was not a.
I was like, he's dead.
Dude, it's something. It's just so weird. Some of those hits like that you just like. Oh, it's almost like
How do they
because it hit so hard and so fast. It's like it worked out instead of like maybe if he had time to react and just moved a little bit and then it's like in a neck brace or something. You know what I'm saying? Like some hits don't even look that hard and they're walking away like, holy cow, like he got that from that, you know?
Yeah.
Those are one of those hits where you just like, because he popped, I mean, he was selling it. Like, where the hell's the flag here? You know what I'm saying? Like right off the bat. And then it was a perfect pass.
Yeah.
You know, it was the one-handed grab on that one, but
touchdown, yeah.
He had a couple that went out of bounds with the players, but they caught them. I mean, they were
the 6'7" receiver caught one out of bounds. Yeah.
And then I think it was 80, Ontario Wilson. He had another one where he tried to get his feet down. And he was just, 6 inches. And give LSU credit, DBU, whatever, for knocking us out of bounds or being on our guys like that. But I was very impressed with Jordan Travis' accuracy.
And 6 inches is a lot. Like that could be like the
right. And right in the defender's hand,
Yeah.
But I feel like he made plays. Even the touchdown we talked about, or we went for it and we dropped it, was out of bounds. The double team on the 6'7" guy. I mean, they were like, hey, we know you're going against DBU. You got to bring that down. It was, I mean, right in his hands, and he was going to get hit pretty good, but it was there to make a play. So that's just very encouraging. We might not even see that for the rest of the year. I don't know where that came from, because I'm thinking like we can't even make a drive. And then here we are making drives left and right, and he's dropping dimes. We hit that 8 and 4, that 9 and 3 threshold. I'm ecstatic.
I think I don't know that I'd be ecstatic over 8 and 4, but I kind of feel like 10 wins would be like our ceiling. Like I don't feel like we could possibly win more than 10, like realistically win more than 10 this year anyway. We've got Georgia on the schedule, and then you're gonna think that we're just not deep. We're not a deep team. That's what everybody keeps talking about us. So
well, shit, Georgia's only number 3. You already beat number 7.
Yeah, just 4 more spots up.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what they end up after this week. I mean, they just demolished Oregon. So I mean,
Utah might get bumped up since they played an SEC team.
They almost beat an SEC team, even though we weren't ranked. They might actually move up. So we'll go to 7 and they'll be 6. That's probably what's going to happen.
That makes sense.
Which Ryan loves. That's what Ryan loves about the SEC bias there.
Yeah.
But which I agree. SEC does have a huge bias, but I'll take it because it just benefits the Gators.
Right.
But no, I think 8 and 4. I'm not going to be devastated, or not.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is nowadays because they keep adding games. But so 8 wins. I'm not devastated. I think 10 wins. I would be ecstatic that we got to 10 wins for the season, especially if we can make it competitive against Georgia.
Yeah, I think y'all in a different. I don't know. I mean, I know y'all had a bad year last year, but we're on like a 5-year bad streak. we didn't even make a bowl game the past couple of years after, having the longest bowl win streak or going to a bowl streak.
Bobby Bowden rolling in his grave after the last few years. Yeah.
And Kyle Whittingham. So I listened to Kyle Whittingham post game press conference, and by the way, like,
is that Conway Twitty you said?
Yes, Conway Twitty.
Okay.
I was listening to Conway Twitty post game press conference. But anyway, he's just, I don't know, just like a good guy, really nice guy. Probably why he'll never, be coaching for a national championship. Because I don't know that you can be a nice guy and win it all here.
Yeah, you got to be kind of a dick.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's why Urban was so good.
Right, exactly. That's why you got two. And that's why Nick Saban is working on what's this, like 12th.
You need murderers like Aaron Hernandez, Henry Ruggs.
Yeah,
like you need
exactly.
Real.
Yeah. You got to be a dick, and then you got to have actual murderers on your team. But anyway, so he was talking about how Dan Mullen didn't leave the cupboard bare, and it's like okay, it's not bare, and that we do have athletes, but we're we have not had top recruiting classes, and from everybody's account, that Dan Mullen kind of gave up. He gave up that last year the year before he got fired, because it sounded like he was expecting to go for an NFL gig. And then definitely did not have a good recruiting class. When we're really talking about it, you got to have these top 10 recruiting classes to really be.
He kind of struck gold with Kyle Trask.
We did,
but not too, because I think it got to a point where it's like, obviously Kyle Trask was the better quarterback. What the hell are you doing? And I think there was a couple positions last year we talked about that, where he wasn't playing the correct guy, which may have been AR versus Emory Jones.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, because we can look even still seeing AR 15 in this game. I mean, it's not like he just came in and balled out. Like, he's very athletic, and he provides that X factor from the athletic standpoint, but there's still passing issues. And he came in last year and threw a lot of interceptions himself. So, and honestly, like, I remember I went back over the schedule to try to think like where we were coming into this season, and like, well, if we can cut down on the interceptions. And I was like, how many interceptions did we have? And I'm just curious, because I can tell you my thoughts of where I thought we would have been. Where would you have thought we were total interceptions on the year? Just give a number. Like in the 20s? You think we would have 20 interceptions?
I don't think I watched that many games.
Last year, 12 games, 2 a game, 24. I don't know.
Think so, yeah. So we were only at 18. And so I tried to say like, only 18. But I was thinking, it's like, okay, well, we cut out a lot of those, and we probably win a few more games. But it's like the games we had a bunch of, we had 2 at USF, 2 at FAU. We won those games. We only had 1 at Alabama. That probably wasn't the change of the game there.
17 against Georgia.
Well, we weren't. We did. We had 3 against Georgia, and a fumble. But we're probably still not winning that game.
Yeah. You were lost by
LSU, we had 4.
then.
The LSU is the only one I could say that we probably we cut those in half when we went.
Yeah.
So 2 less there. But in the games that we lost, it wasn't through the interceptions. We just got flat out beat. Even South Carolina, I think we got smoked. We maybe had 2 interceptions, but we got smoked in that game. So it wasn't an interception thing. So I was thinking maybe it was that, but it wasn't.
As y'all know, JP, he came on our show one time. Never again. Just because the internet, JP. Sorry.
Great internet wherever he's at.
But he was pretty straightforward with me. Just like, you're not beating LSU, you're not beating Clemson, you're not beating Miami. NC State's ranked, Wake's ranked. You got to play Florida. Like, I mean, way to put it on me. Like, okay, yeah, but
So he's 0 for 1 in his predictions for Florida State so
Right, so
far.
we're looking
Yeah.
good. I hope he keeps predicting us to lose. 'Cause
Yeah.
it might be working out for us.
What was it when Lee Corso? It was like Lee Corso. Every time you had a big game, you were like hoping Lee Corso picked against you.
Yeah,
You had a
it
better
was.
chance of winning.
That was so long ago.
It was, yeah.
There
that
was some streak that he was having at that time. It was like you don't want to be picked. If Lee Corso picked you, it's like
You lose.
put your life savings on the other team because you're going to be rich.
Right.
But like who? To me, let's just say in a perfect world, we are good. We're going for that 8-9 wins. Obviously Clemson's going to be a tough one. Miami's looking pretty tough. Who? Because I just don't really pay attention because y'all only play so many teams on the West, and it's like you'll play Alabama like once every 4 years, or
Yeah, we only have we have LSU every year on the West, but then
Okay.
it's only one other team, and it's like every year rotation.
Right.
So we don't even play them twice, whoever it is.
Who's y'all tough ones? Georgia, obviously.
We played Texas A&M this year.
Okay, from the West. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see. Preseason they're considered to be pretty tough, but
So I
we'll see
mean,
how the
like,
season plays out.
if your best case scenario, as right now tonight, we don't know what's going to happen. You got 10 wins. You probably losing Georgia, and you probably losing Texas A&M. You would be saying maybe. Or
Yeah, I
maybe
mean, if we get to
Texas
10
A&M
wins and we only lose 2 games, then yeah, I mean, those would be my 2 favorites
Yeah,
to say to
yeah.
pick. But I mean, you could trade out Texas A&M and say, I mean, Tennessee did really well after us, like after our game
I
last
just
year.
don't know. That's almost like another Georgia team. Like if they're not like a powerhouse with Peyton Manning or something, like
Yeah,
which I don't even think he's ever even beat the Gators.
he did.
Like I just don't feel like they ever beat y'all.
True. Yes. And literally, I think that was I remember shortly after Urban Meyer years, so that next year, the Muschamp years, and there was a lot of talk of like, Florida Gators would come back and they'd be like, you don't lose to Tennessee. You just don't lose to Tennessee.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think who was the one coach who finally beat us, and then we still ended up winning the East.
Lane Kiffin.
No, it wasn't Lane Kiffin. He didn't beat us.
Yeah, let me tell you about the Tennessee.
Golly, I'm blanking on his name. He has so many. He was so many good quotes. Butch Jones. So Butch Jones,
former Miami head coach, the greatest team of all time, 2001 Miami.
That's Butch Davis, right?
Never mind.
Yeah. All right. So I got you back.
I'm about to edit that out.
Yeah. So Butch Jones, he finally beat us. That was with the God, I just saw him, and he's actually in the NFL, I think.
Saw him at Walmart or something.
The quarterback. No. The quarterback. Golly, I can't think of anybody's name anymore. But he had alopecia. There was a big thing about him. Y'all remember
Animal?
Josh Dobbs. So Josh Dobbs finally beat us with Butch Jones, and then we still ended up winning the East that year. And that was, I think, the last time Tennessee won.
Quarterback named Alpaca?
Yes, Alpaca. That was his name. Ryan, you're good with that.
Okay, that's the guy you're talking about. Never mind.
Yeah.
I never knew the actor Al Pacino was a quarterback.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Some of pistachios.
Yeah.
Those are good, actually. Yeah, I think we're just kind of running on fumes right now. I don't really know anything else to really talk about. Both, again, great wins, but there's a lot of sloppiness. Both teams, sounds like Florida needs to clean up maybe the rush attack against the defensive line. Florida State obviously fixed some mistakes, decision-making mistakes. Superb field goal blocking team. But other than that,
Florida State, you're not going to get 2 muff punts every game. So don't plan on that.
Yeah. Because it really, even when it was 24-10, you didn't feel safe enough. You feel like you could breathe
I
a
never
little
felt
bit.
safe.
But
I felt safe when we were in the end zone or when we were like in the goal
yeah,
until after the fumble. I'm like, all
so
right, the game's over. Then we fumble and I'm like, oh shit. And then when
yeah,
that happened, I'm like, they're gonna score.
I
Yeah.
They're
felt
gonna
there
drive the
was
field. There's too much time. They're gonna drive the field. The main thing I was worried about was after they scored, do they go for 2 or 1? I thought they
yeah,
were gonna
right.
go for 2.
I agree.
And
I
look and
agree.
look and looking back, they
I
should have
don't
went
think
for
we
2.
could have stopped them.
Well, yeah.
No.
Especially at going 99 yards like that. It was just like,
Were y'all
Yeah, yeah.
surprised? I guess for me, I was a little surprised thinking if anything with Brian Kelly coming in there, that it would be a little more buttoned up. Like the
for
fact that they were
LSU.
so sloppy. Yeah. Like
Yeah,
two
because
muff
they come
punts.
out.
You got that Butte is supposed to be that All-American wide receiver going into the season.
We
He's
come
running in there and a ball's hitting him in the belly. He's not catching it.
they come
Going
out,
into
they
the end
drive
zone.
all the way down the field, um, and get to the 5-yard line. And it's not looking good, in my opinion, Florida State. I'm like, we haven't even seen our offense yet. But I'm thinking like, damn. And then the next thing you know,
It's a field goal.
they throw it over the head of the quarterback, lost
Yeah.
14 yards.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that.
And then they had a kick, held them to a field goal. I think we drive down the field to miss the field goal. I definitely felt heavy hearted when we were up by 2 scores. We did the late hit on the quarterback. Then we had a pass interference. They were coming off the field. I mean, it was like 3rd and long. Maybe they get a first down. I don't remember if it was supposed to be 4th down or what, but I know it was going to be at least 3rd down, 3rd or 4th down. And we do that late hit that, I don't know, whatever. I'm not even gonna go there. So to go down there and score, and it was like even like the kickoff return kind of got popped a little bit on that. And LSU, they're like, LSU's got this energy. And then the very first play we did, we ran it, we got stuffed right at the line of scrimmage. And I think it might have went in a commercial right after that. But I remember thinking like, damn, it almost feels like the Utah Gator game.
Yeah.
Where it's like, we're going to get to a point where we're not going to be able to stop this other team from scoring. You know what I'm saying? And when they scored and we got stuffed, there we go again. Another 11-13 drive, and we scored a touchdown. It was just like the answer back like that. It was just like, you felt good. It's just like, here we are. This is amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened that last. There seemed to be some type of issue. Even going back to last year, we were up on Jacksonville State 17-7 with 5 minutes left, and we just got an interception, but some knucklehead did a late hit on the quarterback. Next thing you know, we lose on the last play. We could have lost on the last play again tonight.
So you said that neither one of y'all really watched the Utah game.
I watched the 4th quarter. That was it.
4th quarter. Because
It
there
was
was like one play.
19-14.
I want to say it was the last quarter. It was like one play where the guy caught it with his feet, but he didn't catch it. The ball really hit the ground. He snagged it up with his feet, and they didn't even go to like review it. Like they allowed them to run the next play, and then like in the actual replay, you can see it actually hit the ground. It's like they just didn't even review it, question it, or whatever. I'm like, how would you as a referee see a guy catch a ball with his feet, and you're not even like, well, we at least need to look at that.
Yeah, it's odd. Yeah, a foot catch doesn't happen all the time. Maybe we should review this to see if this is
like
on
maybe
the up
we
and
should
up.
just take a beat here. Let's just, call it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was we had that situation too. We're just like,
what did you think
is
when
this
the
the stupid
announcers
stuff that happens that we lose on because it's like it's just not our day and silly things like that happen?
The announcers were jumping all over your boy for calling a timeout? What was it? Do you remember that? It was like,
I remember, yeah, it was at the end, and it
or
was
he waited till the clock went all the way down to 1 second and then
yeah, they
called a
thought he should
timeout.
call it earlier. Yeah, because
Yeah,
it was like
yeah.
fourth. I think it was fourth. Yes, fourth
I
and
didn't
2,
really
and they're
think it
like,
was that big of a deal at the time.
no, and I feel like it was the one announcer more so. I think like Dan
Yeah.
Orlovsky was like, well, if you're confident that you're going to get it, and I feel like Florida
If you score, it
in
doesn't
that
matter.
moment was pretty confident that they were going to get it with with Richardson being the quarterback. Then you want to drive it down, and honestly, I mean, we didn't drive the clock down enough. I mean, they drove right down the field, and they would have scored a touchdown, then throw an interception.
Yeah.
So, and at the very least, they would have kicked a field goal to tie the game.
Did y'all see any of that North Carolina Appalachia State? Yeah.
I peeked on it just to kind of keep up with it because I saw that Appalachian State came back and made it a game. But no, I didn't watch
So
it.
they scored 44 points in the fourth quarter, Appalachia State. There was a point in time where the game was over. They went for 2. The guy was wide open for Appalachian State to take the lead. And the quarterback, I almost felt like I knew exactly what he did. It was just like he saw him like, oh my God, he's wide open. And he just threw it, and it was just a tad too much. It's like, oh my God, if you gave that back to me, and then me throw the 10 out of 10 times, I would have just gave it to him perfectly, But it was almost like he just got so excited that he was wide open. The guy extended for it, kind of took this weird angle, like he had a turn. And it's like Antonio Brown would have caught this damn ball, but this guy, he couldn't get it. And I'm just like, well, everybody's like, well, that's game. And so they tried. I'm like, well, they got an onside kick. They kick the onside kick. North Carolina gets it, and the guy's running down the sideline. He's got a touchdown. I was like, kneel the ball, you idiot! Kneel the ball. And he dives in the end zone. Like even Appalachian State players are trying to tackle him. Touchdown. So now they're down by 8. And this is all within 31 seconds. The 2-point conversion they missed 31 seconds. They kicked the onside kick. I guess no time came off of it from the onside kick. I don't know what the deal is. They scored a touchdown. So they get the ball kicked to them. This guy runs with maybe 26 seconds of the clock all the way to the 50, breaks a couple tackles. You're like, oh my God. Next play, 25 yards at the 25-yard line. Next play, touchdown. So here they are again. And I'm just sitting there, and somebody was like, dude, you said it. Like, why the hell did he run that touchdown, man? I was like, if everybody, I don't care if you're a 350-pound defensive tackle. Listen, I know you want to score a touchdown in your career, and you might not ever have a chance, but you're getting your ass on the ground and winning this game. We're not messing around. Everybody needs to know what the hell's going on. And they didn't get the 2-point conversion to tie it to go in overtime, but it was nuts.
Yeah, that's because we're close to our 40s, and we've seen it enough happen where it's like,
if
you give the other team a chance, then they have a chance. They might come back, and it happens. Whereas you have to make it to where there's just no chance. Like, you've already won the game. Don't be selfish. Kneel that ball and then run the clock all the way down. But these kids are like 20. Probably played football.
Get the bag. Get the bag. Got to get the bag, get paid, dog. Get paid.
Yep. Get them stats. So especially now with the NIL.
They had 1,219 total yards in that game. The final score was 63-61.
That's crazy.
It was nuts.
Wow. I think we're right at over. Like a little over an hour. Yeah.
We can talk after this.
Plus Adam's been yawning like half a dozen.
Oh yeah. Already, dude.
So. Yeah, understood.
Disney wore you out, huh?
Can't hang, man.
Hey, we're undefeated. Even the Jaguars.
That's right.
Yeah. This will probably be
this season.
This will be the only time, that we have 0 losses across all 3 teams. But glad college football's back. Obviously,
football period.
2-0. We got the best record in college football.
You doing anything with the fantasy football team?
I think we should do it. We have until Thursday, because Thursday until before 8 p.m. If we can get a draft in, I think we should do a free one. I know Marcus that I did the fantasy draft with. If anybody wants to join, I'll throw, and probably just do something simple like Yahoo.
We only got like a few spots left, I think, right?
I put the ID and password in there so you can join. I mean, if you had never played before, this would be a perfect opportunity to get
Yeah.
your butt whooped by me. But you would learn what's going on because I'll probably give away all my secrets in a podcast or something.
Yeah. I'm sure my $100 will just be a donation.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be a free league, but you have to pay, Tyler.
Yeah, I gotta pay. All right. Is that how it works?
Yeah. Tyler's $100 goes 50 to Hartle, 50 to me.
Right, there you
Hey,
go.
you still getting your
Well,
Chris Boss to
admin
do it
fees,
for a couple grand,
The-
right?
The rare chance
for
that he,
admin fees.
yeah, the rare chance that he wins, we're like, oh, sorry, dude, there's no money.
Yeah, I went to League Safe and like for some reason they just have no recollection. Can't even find an
Yeah.
email.
They stole my money, dog.
Yeah, you gotta take it with them with a lawyer or something. I don't know what to do.
All right, guys. Well,
Yeah, brother.
great first podcast. Great week, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. And it's stuff to talk about with 2 great games.
If you
Yeah.
watched it this far, thank you guys, and you definitely need to like and subscribe.
Comment.
Yep, comment please.
Mom, you already subscribed, so don't do it again.
But you can still
unsubscribe.
comment. You can still comment. Throw a comment down.
All
Say
right, love
hello.
y'all.
Love you guys.
See you guys.
Dude.
Is it off?
Yeah.
Okay. It didn't say stop recording.
Oh, it's not.